Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Genetic research in the world of One Piece is actually seeming to be a lot more commonplace than we originally thought, and many scientists have researched the genetic alteration and even how to create clones of people or their devil fruits. One of the people who spent a lot of their time researching genetic alteration is of course Vince "Smoke" Judge, an important scientist who was able to modify the genetics of his children, giving them incredible strength and durability beyond that of ordinary humans. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how Judge used the lineage factor to get his children to transcend humanity in terms of strength and durability, and how Sanji was the main one affected by this genetic change. Before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, modified humans are those who've had their lineage factor manipulated, usually in the embryonic stage. And by manipulating this life blueprint, the growth of the life form in question can be altered as per the manipulator's desire. Vince "Smoke" Judge engineered his 4 children possess superhuman characteristics, applying the procedure from them during the time when they were inside Sora's womb, suffering genetic alteration much against their mother's will. In doing this work, he ensured that they would develop a hardened secondary skeleton known as an exoskeleton, as well as other physical enhancements, making their children something superior to a human, a genetic evolution that would be something revolutionary, and something that could form the most powerful family in the world. However, while Ichi, Niji, and Yonji, and even Reiju adapted to their father's engineerings, Sanji gained none of the genetic enhancements due to his mother taking a powerful medication designed to nullify the effects of the genetic alteration. The medication alone made Sanji a normal human at birth, and it was only until recently when he later awakened his genetic enhancements during the attack on Onigashima during the Wano arc. Sanji ended up realizing that he had an enhanced body much like his siblings, and this was a result of using his raid suit. Somehow, using the same suit that was made for Sanji by his father that allowed him to turn invisible, it ended up activating Sanji's latent genetic alteration, and this caused him to acquire the same genetic enhancements that he should have possessed since birth. Sanji's genetic modifications, compared to his brothers, have only affected his body due to the fact that he already had feelings and emotions before he managed to awaken this further modification, and his new and enhanced body seems to be granting him much more power than he had before. Sanji's sister Reiju, although not born alongside her 4 siblings, was also modified by her father to possess such enhancements, but instead of being born without emotions, she was modified to prevent her from directly disobeying her father Judge. This makes her similar to Sanji in that she has emotions, but has a limitation that forbids her to go against her father's wishes, something that Sanji does not have and would probably be something Judge would do to Sanji if he had the opportunity. Because Judge has the ideology that feelings make a person weak, if he could figure out a way to control Sanji and Reiju's feelings, this wouldn't be as much of a problem for him because these two have emotions and desires of their own that could contradict his own motives. Unlike his brothers, Sanji has the spiral of his eyebrows facing to the left, while that of his brothers face to the right, something that's brought a lot of questions to most of us in the fandom. During the Wano arc, something unexpected happens. Sanji managed to awaken the genetic enhancements just like his brothers during the confrontation against Kaido's pirate known as Queen. Upon awakening, Sanji's eyebrows turned to the right just like his brothers, which made his fans create a theory that was confirmed in an SBS 105. Sanji's eyebrows change sides as he toggles his genetic modifications on or off, and we saw that Sanji can only achieve the improvements in his body if he's feeling a strong emotion, much like the instinct to protect his family or his companions. So unlike his brothers who managed to keep their body modification active all the time, Sanji can only activate when he's motivated to fight, and this isn't a huge disadvantage because Sanji can activate this improvement quickly during a battle. When Sanji was a child, he was physically weaker than his brothers, who always seemed to outperform in any activity or training, to the point that he was considered a disappointment and a failure by his family. He was brutally ridiculed by his twin brothers and beat and often received various offenses that made him despise his family all the more. The only ones that ever seemed to care about Sanji were his mother Sora and his older sister Reiju. All of the childhood trauma that Sanji suffered originally was caused by his mother trying to stop the genetic modification of her children, trying to prevent them from being born without feelings or humanity. Unfortunately, this medicine was only able to prevent Sanji from being born without feelings and changes to his body at that moment, which left his father Judge completely enraged with Sora and his son Sanji. However, during the raid at Onigashima during the Wano arc, Sanji noticed that after 3 uses of his raid suit, his body started to feel a bit different, and even in some cases, better, which baffled him at the beginning of his fight with Queen. Later during the fight with Queen, Sanji angrily realized that the genetic modifications that had laid dormant within him since birth had finally awakened, granting him a superhuman physical build and an exoskeleton that makes him nearly invulnerable, on top of the fact that he also seems to have a rate of accelerated healing. Sanji was able to tank extremely strong strikes without suffering any visible damage, and it didn't even seem he needed to defend himself against these attacks, even managing to raise the level of his flames on his foot without any problems. After surviving being crushed by Queen, Sanji got right back up, and even though it seemed all of his bones were broken, his body just snapped back into place and reformed, shocking everyone around him. But next, the most shocking thing happened, where Queen swung a sword directly at Sanji's neck, but the blade shattered, and Sanji just felt a minor pain and annoyance as a result of that attack. All Sanji needed to do was kind of put his jaw back into place, and even was able to withstand multiple bullets that the Beast Pirates had shot at him without any injuries, displaying immense endurance just like his siblings. After realizing that his genetic modifications were awakened because he used the raid suit, Sanji decided to accept the changes to his body, but not before destroying the canister that contained his suit to permanently sever his ties with Germa. After using his new gifts to at least a better degree, he found that he became so fast that it was as if he could turn invisible without the suit, and even managed to turn invisible to Queen's observation haki. On top of that, his already impressive strength grew to a level far greater than he could have ever imagined, giving him an incredible increase of all of his abilities that allowed him to become virtually invincible. By combining all these new enhancements to his body and his armament haki, Sanji developed fighting techniques that it would have been physically impossible for him to do before, creating blue and even hotter flames on his feet. Recently, in our current Egghead Island arc, we saw Sanji was even able to withstand Seraphim Jinbei's punch with his arms crossed and didn't even move from the impact of the punch. Sanji was also able to perform a 2-footed flying kick on S-Shark, and he was able to push him back quite a long distance. This clearly demonstrates that these bodily changes were able to make Sanji become incredibly stronger, surpassing any human evolutionary expectation. These genetic changes made to the bloodline factor of Sanji and his brothers make them an incredible weapon. Not even the most rigorous training could make a regular human acquire the level of strength and durability that Sanji currently has. One person we might be able to compare this to is Zoro, because of his stamina and strength that he's built throughout his constant training. Zoro might never be able to reach the same level of stamina and durability that Sanji currently has because of this genetic modification. Now, before you start going off in the comments, that doesn't rule out the fact that Zoro wouldn't be able to injure him, because during the Wano arc, we saw that Zoro was able to cut Kaido. So even though Sanji has this great durability, it doesn't mean that Zoro wouldn't be able to cut him and therefore defeat him. Miraculously, despite being able to awaken this genetic modification in his body, it seems that Sanji does not display the lack of empathy associated with his brother's genetic enhancements. This was shown because he was horrified at the thought that he would be responsible for hitting a woman while his powers were manifesting. So it's quite possible that Sanji may not lose all of his emotions just like Reiju didn't. But this was stated to be a worry of his during the story, and it may indicate that in the future, Sanji might have to grapple or potentially lose his emotions, potentially indicating and foreshadowing that Sanji's gonna have a struggle so he doesn't become as similar like his brothers, because he hates their lack of emotion and empathy and everything they stand for. So with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. Do you think this is the height of all of Sanji's abilities, or do you think we're gonna see his genetic modifications grow? It was really exciting to see how his flame color changed and his further durability, but do you think that this might come with a cost, and what might we see in the future to indicate that Sanji still has got a little more growth to have? Next, what do you think this means in terms of the monster trio? We know that Sanji's got these amazing durability and his new techniques, but do you think that this might even increase the little bit of tension that he has with his brotherly feud with Zoro? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.